Oh, can't wait.
Oh, well, I'll tell you what. Hey, everybody. Yeah, we're late again, but we're fashionably late. So, there's late, Trina, and then there's fashionably late.
Yeah,
How are you?
I am wonderful. How are
Excellent.
you?
Any better, I'd be guilty. But then again, I was never that innocent to begin with. Famous
Yeah,
line.
that's the fun.
That I know it. Every time I say that line, I always think of Charlie Sheen in Wall Street in the first, Bud Fox, great character he played.
Yeah,
Anyway, I digress. So we weren't here last week, and because I was off doing stuff, and
yeah.
so we're back together again. Hello, everybody in the audience and everybody watching. Thank you, moderators. And man, the chat room is full. There's Robert V. How you doing? And Kenneth. And wow. So
I might be
let
on
me say,
Saturday night, I think. I don't know. I might be on with Robert V on Brian's show soon.
excellent, excellent.
Yeah.
He was I really enjoyed listening to him. You get to know others a lot of times. Hello, Marcia Price. How are you?
Oh, I love
Yeah.
Marcia. I love to like get to know people. That's been one of my favorite parts of this. There's certain people you really connect with, you know?
There is, and
Yeah.
it's interesting because it's a psychic connection more than it is one that I would call a physical um
Yeah, and a heart
attraction.
connection. It's
Yeah.
a familiarity. It's like, I remember you, or I know, you feel like you know them already. It's very awesome.
Have you seen the movie The Skulls?
No, uh-uh.
Go and watch that movie. It's very interesting. I did a whole series on secret societies, and it was rumored that Bush was a member of the Skulls.
Oh,
Uh,
yeah. They say
Harry.
Prescott started it.
Yeah, I know that goes several hundred years back.
Yeah.
And anyway,
Mhm.
the movie is a fictional adaptation to the fictional secret society, but it was real interesting because there's a scene in the movie where the two characters, the antithesis of the progenitor,
Mhm.
and it's real interesting because when I was watching that, I said to myself, now what if you, being an omnipotent being, which
Mhm.
we are all divine beings.
Mhm.
And the game we play is that we come down here and there are those who I think are soul mates, and it's not male, female all the time. And it's
Yeah.
not always two, it can be four, five, um,
Yeah.
that we come into this life, we figure out when we're going to come in,
Yep.
and we play this game before we go in, and we're going to say, all right, Trina, now this is the role that you're going to play. And what part of the game is you're going to see if you can meet your soulmate
Mhm.
in this altered reality.
Yep.
And it's very interesting because so often we see that happen.
Oh, absolutely. I think, yeah, it's so weird, the power of our mind. It's like what you think about, you will bring about.
Yeah, yeah, I really do believe that's true.
Oh, I have tested this, Wayne. I have manifested. I've done it over and over again. And now I'm to the point, it's like, you learn. Be careful what you ask for
Mm,
because
mm.
you will bring higher lessons. The more you master, the more you will receive to hit new levels. And initiations, as you well know, they're rough.
Yeah, it's interesting. And
Yeah.
yeah, it was just when I saw that, that was immediately the thing that hit me. And I said, well, that's very interesting because I wonder how many of us in life are doing that already.
We are, but most of us, we're doing it by default because we're letting the matrix create for us instead of
Yeah.
actively creating yourself, knowing you can create. We don't, most people do not know this is how it really works.
I contend this whole thing that the world is facing, someone brought it into manifestation. And
Yeah.
it's big. It affects the world, affecting billions of people. So that is a freaking lot of psychic energy, Trina.
Oh, yeah.
being poured into something that's manifesting. And that's what this channel is about. It's about,
Yeah.
listen, there's a surface that you can stay on, but at some point in time, you got to say there's something more to this.
Yes.
Yes,
And there is.
I absolutely do believe that.
Yeah, this is so temporal and temporary. It's not forever. This is an experience. We're immortal, eternal beings.
So they had to harvest a lot of that energy off of something or someone, or all of us.
Yes.
So we have a subject matter, and it's interesting. We did not plan this, folks. And by the way, let me just invoke favor upon everyone that's hearing and watching us. We just invoke favor upon your life, nothing missing, nothing broken. And also, happy birthday. And I'd be amiss if I did not say happy birthday to my wife. Um,
Oh,
love you,
happy
darling.
birthday,
And
Lynn.
yes, Lynn is having a birthday today. So much love, my
Yay.
darling. And there we go. So let's talk about something. It's interesting how the flow here is this. So let's talk about this.
Oh, yeah.
I had a tremendous revelation, whether you want to call it a dream, whether you want to call it a vision. Um, and this is a powerful image. I know when you and I talked right before we went live, you always have an immediate psychic reaction to this. What was yours to that you were saying?
That serpent dream that I had of cutting myself out of the snake, because it was like cutting myself out of a total system. And it
Mhm.
crushed my reality. It literally crushed my reality. I literally went into a whole new reality after that vision.
Interesting.
Yeah, it was profound. It was earth shaking.
It does change people, doesn't it? I mean, I this dream that I had, it was part of the visitor that came. So I saw something that, and I have studied this for a long time. What is the meaning of the Ouroboros? What does it imply? Well, it's the serpent eating its tail. And in this case, when you really look at this, the serpent is in fact a representation of eternity here.
Yep.
So if you go by the belief, and this is very important, let's put the hold on the word belief, because belief can be substituted for a word called faith. What's important is what you put your faith in. So
Hmm.
the visitor taught me to look at this in a different, this is reincarnation. This is eternity. This is duality
Yep.
at its finest. You believe in this, and how you know you believe in this is that, let's say you believe in a religion.
Hmm.
Your religion is duality based,
Hmm.
and you are doomed to eternity, in this eternity, to continue to incarnate. Because as long as you continue to believe, faith, buy into whatever you want of the duality construct, this is the matrix.
Bingo. Yeah. When I
Yeah.
cut myself out of the serpent, it was
Isn't,
cutting myself out of the matrix. It's
see, it's
exactly what it was.
very interesting,
Yeah,
isn't
it
it?
was like
Yeah.
they showed me that my true self was sleeping in stasis, and that was how I was being able to be projected into this reality. Like I said, it was such a profound, that everything here was a bunch of lies. And it, like I said, it destroyed my reality. Destroyed it. Done. Destroyed
Sons
it.
of bitches.
Yeah, it was
Destroyed
like,
them.
oh man, it's one of those ones. Yeah, there ain't no coming back from this one. It was just like, that's what I learned about the Jesus trap, and
Yeah.
it was just, it just shattered everything. Everything. I didn't even know what to do. I had like a 3-week meltdown. It was just ugly.
What does it say? As the sands of time pass through, so are the, what is it? The time of our lives, or something like that.
Yeah.
Um, but when you study this, and there's a lot of different philosophical beliefs behind this. Everyone, well, I guess if they study it, you'll develop your own. But what see in this now is that this is the trap.
Totally.
It's the trap.
Totally. Yeah, totally. Bingo.
It's like, man, move on. You don't want to be here,
And
but
it's
we are
about the
here.
DNA and it's about the skin, the serpent. See the scales, the skin, the flesh. It's about these bodies because they're projections, but they're serpent.
Yes.
Its matrix is serpent. Its serpent is matrix. Dragon serpent energy created the matrix. Yes.
This is intense too when you look at this. I mean, again, each has their own impression, but
Yeah.
what I saw is, and so, when you get this out, when we basically, for myself, so this is why I keep asking people, define evil,
Right.
define good, because the trap is, and you can see it in the responses. A lot of people just don't choose. I ain't talking. I'm talking about it. But it becomes something that says, hmm, if I believe good, then does that mean I have to believe evil? If I believe evil, does that mean I have to believe good?
Mhm. That's what this system does is it pulls you to opposite ends, and that's why the
Yeah.
masters can sit in the middle and know that they're both operating because they need to exist in the wheel of polarity, but you really don't have to have any emotion towards either one because you know they're both perfect.
You just brought something you see, we didn't talk about this, folks. So,
Mhm.
what is the one element within an atom that is so often overlooked? I'll let everyone know. So,
Electron.
a neutron.
Yeah, and electron. I think if you can control the electron, the
Yeah, but see,
charge.
electron has a negative and a positive polarity.
Yes.
The neutron is neutral.
Yes.
It's
Yes,
it's
yes, yes.
and I wrote to someone today and I said, this is how we escape the atom, that's
Uh-huh.
ATUM, the atu, that's ATU, or shall I say God? And
Mhm.
here's a concept, Trina. Why is it that everyone wants to try to work back to God when, in fact, I'm saying, shouldn't we continue to try to escape from God?
I don't know that we can escape from God because what I see is God's just the energy of consciousness.
But
That's
then
kind of
that's a non-personification.
it is.
Yes,
But I
that's a
think
key.
going back to God to me that would means being reabsorbed into Source, which I want to go and expand further. So that I'm with you. I'm all for expansion. Um, I see going back into Source would be absorption because you're going
It's
back into the oneness. That's not like
it's
don't
the
get too
Oberus.
close because you'll get sucked right in it, and then you'll just lose everything because you just it goes all back to Source. So that was what I've been shown. So for
See,
me, it's like yeah, we're about expansion, and that to me seems like a cell. Like you're trapped in one cell, one system, and until you realize that you're powerful enough to get out and you don't give your power away to nothing, you're going to be locked into this loop over and over and over again because you don't trust yourself.
and that was my meaning of escaping God. It's not a
Yeah.
sacrilegious thing. It
Yeah.
is the
Escaping
point.
religion.
Yeah,
Yeah.
if
And
you're always
embracing
going
the
back to
God that is
source,
you.
yeah,
Because we're God.
and that's what hit me was that it's so finite.
Yes.
I mean,
Oh,
listen, I'm as spiritual. I don't think you have to be religious to be spiritual. I think you
no.
can be spiritual and be above religion.
Yes.
And that's the
I was
thing.
going to say, I think religion is a step to spirituality.
Yeah. So your daughter, would you want your daughter by the time she's 50 years old to still come to you as she was when she was 5?
Oh, no.
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 So why would the concept of a source or God, or however you want to frame it, would it not be more of a love to say, go out and explore.
It's exactly what it is.
Yeah. Yeah.
And explore for me, because as source, I can't separate. So for me to experience, I need some type of a separation out of it so I can even experience what I am. So that's how he showed me. He's like, I created you so I can experience me. I was like, wow. He's like, yeah,
Yeah.
you're my hands because I don't have hands.
Don't need them.
I'm in everybody's hands.
Don't
Your
need them.
hands are how I experience my creation.
Yeah.
I was like,
Uh,
wow, that makes a lot of sense. Yeah.
yeah. Yeah, and this is what I really like. I'm reading in some of the comments in the group. This is the whole idea, is to challenge that which,
Program.
yeah. I don't know how you like, man, what's that commercial? I could have had a V8, but
Yes.
you know,
It's like, get out of
it's like
there. Get out.
it's like in the movie Broadcast News. I'm mad as hell and I ain't gonna take it anymore.
That's right. It's like,
So,
get rid of these programs. They've been so drilled into us. It's like,
yes, yeah.
breaking out of the cage. It's so hard. Yeah.
It is. I'm just it's and when you have conversations, when I do with my wife, you know, there's times Lynn looks over at me and says, "Where have you been?" Because she,
Yeah.
you know,
Huh?
yeah, it's like, yeah,
Yeah. Where did, yeah. What? Yeah.
oh my goodness, oh my.
Yeah, but that's
But
like so funny, Wayne, that snake, that's exactly when I realized all of that if I don't trust myself, I am stuck. And they were like, you're going to be really pissed because apparently I have gotten out of this before. And
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 you get,
that's why they were like, you went back in to help. They were like, don't get stuck. I was
I've
like,
heard that. I've heard that.
I
I've
was
had
like,
people
oh sure, oh crap.
write me and say, well, maybe most of our missions here are to help people escape. And I
Yeah,
thought one person wrote me yesterday exactly that, Trina.
that's what my mission is,
Yeah, and I
specifically.
so let me ask you then, is it possible that so often those who come back to help end up getting trapped yet themselves?
It's the greatest risk. Remember I told
Mm,
you, I was like, you go in there, it's risky, but you don't, when you're up there, you don't remember what it feels like. So like I
yeah.
said, when I came into the density, I'm like, oh, hold the phone. I am not doing this. you know, we forget. It's like somehow we don't remember how strong matter feels.
Hmm.
Matter's so dense and it's so powerful. Oh, but it's a train wreck at the same
It's
time.
it's the atom.
Yes. Yes. Yes.
Think about this. Maybe we are free radicals because in quantum physics, radicals are just that. They don't have boundaries. They can appear like quirks. They can literally come
Yes.
into this reality and then drop out of this reality.
Yes. Yes.
Wow, 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 wow.
You're absolutely right. That, like
This
they're
is
saying to me, they're screaming, yes. I'm like, oh,
yeah.
you're onto something with what I don't really understand all that yet, but I know I'm going to look into that. I'm listening to this again because that was a
That is really
strong yes.
interesting.
You're the yes. Wow.
You know,
I always I heard the same thing, but they said you're the rebel self. So is
yeah.
that the same thing?
Well, in the theory, yeah. I mean,
Okay.
back in I learned this by I was in the video industry for 2 decades,
Mm-hmm.
and the engineers that I worked with, it was really interesting because if back in the days when we had the old tube sets, the televisions, when the broadcasting stations went off, which was primarily UHF, excuse me, you could actually see the neutrinos come by. And we're all being penetrated right now by billions of neutrinos. And so let's think about this, Trina. Actual reality is that we are not big, we're extremely small in matter.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Yes.
So us being free radicals are like the neutrinos that can pass through it. Now, imagine an intelligence that could attach itself to a neutrino. It would go undetected virtually through every living matter, animated or inanimate.
Could that attach to nucleic acids?
Yes, think about
That's
this.
because that's what they said. Satan's interference with nucleic acids is what created sin or skin.
Think about it. Yeah.
That's what he told me. I didn't understand what that really meant, but it sounds like you understand it more than I did.
I've been there. Um,
Wow.
I
Wow.
experienced that when I was 4 years old. I lived in Santa Clara. It was on
Mm.
March
Wow.
11th, but I was in the den
Mhm.
and I suddenly shrunk down. As for a kid, I was in another place, and
Yeah.
it was color was everywhere, but I was consciously aware of how intimate, infinitesimal I was, but yet how powerful at the same time. Does that make sense?
Totally.
Yeah.
Totally. You
Yeah.
like this little tiny, little teeny weeny weeny
Yeah.
bitty little spark can go boom and create a whole universe.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like that much power's in that little tiny little itty bitty. So I said it's our spark, that divine spark.
My
It's
grandmother wanted to
power.
take me to a psychiatrist because she didn't think I was right. It's like I said, I've been tested. I know I'm sane,
Me
but I,
too. It's like, yep,
yeah.
totally. And a little on the smart side. It's yeah, it's all good.
But think about that. So actually, because when we die, they say there's it's approximately 23 grams, maybe 27 grams that the body loses, and it's universal.
Yeah. Spirit and water.
Wow, I'm just really seeing this. So if you think about this getting back, if you were in fact a free radical, you
Mhm.
would be free, literally free.
Yes. You're supposed to be. And you're a creator and you go and create different stuff and you do different stuff. Like I said, this was mission save Earth, save souls. Because
Yeah,
it's a big,
yeah.
it's the spin cycle. You know, you go through these 26,000 year cycles and then you hit the spin cycle. It's like restructure time. So yeah, many are going through the spin cycle right now, and they're
Mm.
going to be going to the appropriate timelines to finish out this cycle and bring in a new cycle,
It's
new
really about
age, new cycle.
vibration.
Yeah,
Yeah, it is.
yeah,
I mean, a molecule vibrates, an atom
yeah.
vibrates, and if you,
Literally, God, like the Lord showed me a
yeah,
washing machine. He's like,
yeah.
and he threw the earth in it, and the one earth spun out to 12 new earths.
Well, that's how they separate, white cells, blood, from red cells. Plasma is by spin.
Literally, what I
Yeah,
saw, a
yeah.
spin machine, like a washing machine, and the earth was literally thrown into the spin machine, and it went, whew, and out of the one were 12 new ones. And then it was shown to me the souls would be going down these different vibrational earth realms based upon their vibration. Yeah.
I'm telling you, I am really hoping that when that time comes for it, and each of it does for us, that we retain this. I mean, I can't
Oh no,
help
I
it.
think it's happening now. And then he showed me, he says, you won't know this even happens.
Mm.
You won't even know.
I was cooking the other day and just looking out on the green belt, and I heard this thought saying, and this is what I heard: you're not even going to know you've passed.
Yes.
And
Yes.
it was just so I was chopping, I think I was chopping celery or something, and I had to stop, and I said, where did that come from?
Right.
Yeah.
That's what I've been showed 100 times. They're like these big things, like jumping timelines and stuff. He's like, you don't notice. I was
Yeah.
like, how could you not notice? He goes, you don't notice. They're too similar. You,
And
you,
this just gets into this whole thing then, those who get trapped here,
mhm.
it's then the question I'm asking myself is that, so what happened here? Is it that can we actually, like an atom, attract molecules that begin to weigh down what we would call the essence of what spirit is?
No, it's totally bottom line. So simple, free choice. And you agree. So these aliens are going to come to you looking like the God that you worship. And they're going to tell you, come with me, I'm the God that you worship. And they're going to take you to their heaven. But you've entered their realm. And once you're in their realms, you're their property. But
Someone
you
wrote,
agree.
yeah, and I think that's where I'll have to say, no, go on with it. I don't
Yeah.
believe in any of the gods, and to
Well,
me,
and I do, Wayne. I like,
wow,
me, I want to know how to get out of here. And because I know there's a risk to get trapped because I have been clearly shown this, a few different ways. So I was like, how do I get out? And every single time it's like, duh, know thyself. Duh, duh.
yeah, yeah.
So mission self.
So what I
Yeah.
wrote down here is that the reason why I would never work in the Christian, and it's very ambiguous, definition of heaven,
Right.
I would be the antivirus.
Yeah, me too.
Exactly. We would be those free radicals that
Uh-huh.
we would not be able to be cohesive.
Yeah. I wouldn't be cohesive to a hierarchy, which is like bow worship me. No, it wouldn't work for me.
And I like I asked the question. I actually went over, I told everyone yesterday, I went on to another posting site and I put this question down. So, is God a human? Is God a human spirit? Is there such a thing as a human spirit? Or do we just assume that we're a human spirit because
Yeah,
we're human, that we think
yeah.
we
We're
yeah,
not human. We're not human. I know that. I know we're not. With what this is, that we're not. I know that much. I don't know all of it, but I know that much.
see, it's
This is,
very
I think, how you
interesting.
get bound too, because when you have this identity in this world as what you are, man, you've missed the mark. Boom.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, because you're creating a window of going back into the same because it's all you see and all you know. So you're going to go right back into the same because it's your vision of happiness because it's all you remember. When you can't get into the inner worlds and travel into the universe, connect with the Lord, Buddha, whoever you want to, they're all in your universe because you're currently inside this universe as a cell experiencing within it. You have connection to the whole thing because it's all in you. And that's what you got to remember. This is an inversion to flip you and take you, pull you outside. This is to experience separation from what you truly are. Because the highest part of you is directly connected to source. That's why it's so smart. Oh man, the super smart part of you, it's like, oh dude, really? Whoa, whoa. Yeah, this is where we get all of our brilliance is from our literal, see, over soul. It's over your soul,
Hmm.
over it. That's why they call it higher self over soul. It's not soul, it's above it. And that above part of you is literally one with the universal super consciousness, the God mind. Some people call it the higher mind, whatever. It's like all the same. You can use 1,000 names, but it's the same thing.
Hmm.
We're three in one. You've got this body, then you've got your soul and the causal bodies, all those electrical bodies connected to the aura. That's where you dive into those layers of self. And then when you get above that, you get into more the etherical, angelic parts of self to the higher mind consciousness, which is collected, it's connected to everything. So, yeah, you have these, this is what you are as a being. So, most of us are sitting in the third dimensional existence reality parallel within our minds. A lot of people in this community, they're way into soul construct and some into higher mind. They're bouncing all the way to the highest levels. But the majority of people on earth, they're totally anchored in this right here. Just 3D plane.
Yeah. I listen, I think you just eloquently explained a lot that I think people have been kind of asking. And
Yeah, we're trapped in a consciousness based on what we know because we have amnesia. And this is the key is know thyself. When you start to know what you are, you connect to the true spirit. And the spirit is it's the spirit is basically the God thing. It's that energy that has consciousness and can create. And you've been gifted a part of that. And that's why you can be so much because you're a part of that. And that is all of it.
yeah.
We can't put our brain, we can't. you can't comprehend what this is. It's so big. So
So
just
when you
trust.
dream, do you dream as yourself? Do you see yourself? Or like I don't see myself. It's interesting when I try to see myself. Um, it's like I don't, I have a body, but it's not a body. So well, the question is, do you see yourself as Trina as you look to now?
It depends.
Okay.
Sometimes I do, and especially, like, when I created my foundation and relationship with that being the Lord,
Mm-hmm.
when I would visit with him, literally what I would see is myself in a different realm. Like, I would be aware of my physical presence, but I would literally just shut my eyes and go to his realm, and I would be with him, but I would always be in a child body. So, and then, like, when I have
I mean, can we
dreams.
stop right there? When you say
Yeah.
in a child's body, it's very curious because I have a lot of those
Yeah,
myself.
like a 9 or 10-year-old kid. Mhm.
So the question, it's interesting. So as a
Yeah.
child, is it childlike in a spirit form more than a physical form?
I think it's, this child, when I'm in that realm, I don't
Hmm.
know if it's because 'cause I'm in that realm, but, oh, man, I am so smart in that realm. So, like, that inner child part of me, like, that's one of the smartest parts of me. If I have questions, I'm
Yeah.
like, "Hey, help me out," because I
Trina,
don't know
there's a
how to
truth
explain it.
here, hon.
Huh?
There's a truth here.
Yeah,
I have a picture when I start my computer of me in my fifth grade picture,
yeah,
which I was 10 years old.
yeah,
It just hit me. You see why we have to understand that we live 1,000 lives in
yeah,
this life.
yes.
You know why that child is like that? Because here's the interesting thing. That's the innocence of Trina. That's the innocence of Wayne.
Yeah.
That
It's
never
part of us,
dies.
and the part of us that still hears God
Yeah.
direct.
We're both the profane and we're both the
Yeah.
pure.
Yes. Yes. And when you can love both of it, that's when you become master because you can
That's
sit in
when,
the neutrality. Yeah.
yeah, that's when
Yeah.
the
Oh, I love
adult,
you, little stinker pot, and I love you, innocent, pure, beautiful little self.
yes,
Both have a very important function in my world. So thank you. We're gonna have to watch you a little bit, but love you. It's all good. Let's be together and have a good time. Yes,
that's
merging.
communication.
Yeah.
Oh, you know what? Because you just said something there, because so many people have a problem with guilt. They don't like themselves.
Yeah.
And you
Gotta
just,
love yourself.
but if they'll let that 10-year-old child
Hmm.
speak to the 60-year-old woman, let's just say, or man,
It's
you know
profound.
what? That child's not going to condemn you.
No.
The child's not going to judge you. That child's got innocent love.
Oh yeah.
Folks, there is some truths coming out on here.
And that
I'm going to
child
tell
is
you
gonna
what.
is gonna tell you what is unresolved within you. And you
Yeah.
say, "Show me your pain, show me your frustration." And they'll throw images that you can see or create a movie screen in your mind and say, "Show me the pictures. Show me." And it'll give you memories. And then you can ask, "How can we heal it?"
Hmm.
And then how could we create a better outcome? And you can create new pictures and new outcomes. And you could say, wow, I couldn't protect you from that then, but as an adult now, I can protect you and I can make sure nothing like that ever happens again to you. And it's amazing because you can change all of these programs through communicating with your trauma through this child that experienced it as you.
The child can heal you.
It's mind blowing. I've seen people heal cancer
Yeah.
talking to their inner child.
Yeah.
Tumors dissolve. I've seen this happen.
I think so often, so many ailments of the body are primarily dealing with unresolved guilt,
It's amazing
unresolved
too.
forgiveness.
Emotion, and this is
Yeah.
emotion, dysfunctional emotion. Typically, in many people, it shows up cancer. And the inner child work is, I'm telling you, this is one of those very
Mm.
important places people should go if they have this, because it might
Yeah.
wipe it out instantly.
And I think it would also stop the cycle. The
It
Ouroboros,
does. It does.
yeah, it's a dog chasing its tail, you know.
Yes, the Ouroboros.
Yeah. I always remember Stephen Wright. He was a comedian, he's just got this dry sense of humor, and he
Mhm.
has the run routine, and he says that his neighbor had this dog that would never stop barking.
Yeah.
He said, so one night, he said, I snuck over, threw a bone, dog's chewing on the bone. I put one contact lens in his eye, had a cat painted on it. The dog died chasing his tail, you know.
Oh,
It's the idea. Could you imagine that the dogs is seeing the cat anyway? Uh,
yes.
so,
Oh my
uh,
God.
so when we talk about the dreams and how the segues, oh, folks, we plan this. Always, it just happens. So the phenomenon is apparently happening worldwide, Trina. This is AP News. Infecting our dreams. Pandemic sabotages sleep worldwide. Goes on to talk about how it's messing with people. People are seeing the end of the world. They're seeing visions. They're seeing here's NBC News, why so many people are experiencing weird pandemic dreams. So much fear is now in an uncertainty. It's affecting people where they can't get their REM sleep, and the sleep they are getting. Here's wired.com. Coronavirus has created an epidemic of weird dreams. Finally, this is National Geographic. The pandemic is giving people vivid, unusual dreams. And I mean,
Now,
it's happening all over the world.
you know what I just saw?
What'd you see?
Every single time something beautiful happens, there has to be an absolute opposite present for the thing to exist. So when we
Duality.
see, yes, so when we see that this whole virus and what it's done to the world, when you look at the other aspect of it, I wonder if this is the absolute effect of the light that's coming in on a photonic level and a plasma level, and it's affecting our crown, and it's awakening the masses into as to such a degree that the absolute balance of that would to be to put the entire world into fear, because it has to have a balance. So I wonder if this is an absolute confirmation that we are getting ready to see the greatest mass awakening ever seen before on this planet.
Well, one thing we know, this has never happened before. I
No, and
mean,
look at all the
no.
dreams. That's what I'm saying. This is
Yeah.
affecting our heads.
Yeah.
That's why they call
I
it
mean,
corona. That's crown. This is
it's,
crown. There,
it's,
this is crown. Battle
yeah.
of the crown. Are you going
Yeah.
to go into fear, or are you going to step into your power as a creator and say, "No, I manifest"?
Yeah. And that's an interesting term too,
Mhm.
crown. So when, when I hear the word crown,
Mhm.
I always think of royalty.
I think of chakra.
See? And I
Chakra.
think that that chakra would be the same thing. I think in royalty is the fact that it's the divine
Well, yeah, because if
who
your
wears the
crown's open,
crown.
you hear from the divine. So
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah. I mean,
it's a crown. Think
and
about
if
it
you think of
too.
the chakra, those are all precious stones that would
Yeah.
be in a crown anyway.
Yes, and think about it too. All the enlightened saints, they have that halo around their heads, around their crown, the light shining forth from the crown, which
Mm-hmm.
is yeah, which is like the sun, corona, the sun. It's this is
Mm-mm-mm-mm-mm.
about us. This is affecting our heads.
So we have 2-3 billion people can't go anywhere. Their REM sleep is now off. They're having, um, and I contend what's happening, and this is just my opinion, I think many of them are experiencing lucid dreaming.
I do too. I just heard that lucid dreaming and they're freaking out.
They're freaking out, and I would too, to be honest with
Yeah,
you.
it
Yeah.
never happened before. And all of a sudden you're like, what is going on? In the Bible too, it says in the end days, men will have prophetic dreams.
Yeah, your children will have visions,
Yeah.
and old
Visions.
men will dream dreams.
Yes. See, this is about a change of a system. We've entered the age of Aquarius, y'all. Get ready.
Well,
The
it's
Atlanteans are going to wake up. Oh,
we've got
oh.
to really focus then though on this lucid dreaming, because none of the articles that I've read in doing the research on this, absolutely none of them mentioned lucid dreaming.
Because they don't
And
want people to research it.
yeah,
Bingo.
well, if you're having them, folks, go do research lucid dreaming. I'll do another show on that.
Yes.
Um, but here's the deal, Trina. Think about it, because it's exactly what you do when you want to lucid dream. You interrupt the REM sleep with
Yep.
cycles of cognition, and then you go back down into where you get into REM right before lucid dreaming.
And
I
think
bet
about
you a
it.
lot of people are having out of body experiences.
Absolutely, because you know what? They're not working, they're at home, so a lot of them are sleeping so much more than normal. Well, after you get enough sleep, then you have too much sleep, and that's when you start having that interrupted sleep and the cognition in between, and it naturally will go into that own rhythm. So I bet
Hmm.
you're spot on with that, Wayne. That
Well,
sounds
you have
ab
increased levels of serotonin,
Yep,
increased levels of melatonin.
yep,
And, when you start getting those out of balance, you're going to lucid dream.
yeah.
You really are.
Yes, you are.
Yeah.
And it'll happen through a natural process. It
Mhm,
it
mhm.
it it just does. I
Wow.
you're spot on with that. I am like, yeah, you're absolutely right. That's exactly what's happening. These people's sleep patterns are changing, their hormones, everything. And this new light that's coming in, it's happening.
Twisted Isby says we're passing the galactic plane. I think you're
Yes.
right. I mean, listen,
Yes.
there's enough science. We know we're the galactic sheet is another term for it.
Yeah.
We're
Yeah.
seeing it what it's doing to the stars right next to our star. We're
Oh, yeah.
talking, not that far away, folks. And
Yeah.
this is interesting because we are electrical beings.
Yeah, and that light makes the vibrational rate change. That's why I think the Schumann is not going back down now. You see that these spikes are consistent every day at 10 o'clock?
It's interesting because I'm just now
Yeah.
thinking when you got 2, 3 billion people locked down, particularly in the industrialized countries,
Mhm.
I don't know, you have a lot less interference, such as, with and I'm just, 5G, Wi-Fi. Then you're having interrupted sleep patterns.
Mhm.
I know if you were a conspiracy theorist, you could go really off the rails on this one.
Oh,
But
absolutely.
I think that there's a practical side to this that I think where we have to keep that balance.
Yeah.
So it's natural for the body, Trina, am I right? You're the reflexologist and the Reiki master, is that when those levels, particularly with serotonin, when your
Mhm.
serotonin levels get off, things begin to happen.
Mhm.
Um, I can see why people are actually having problems with this. Their routine is messed up.
Absolutely, and that's all it takes.
Yeah.
That's all that you need. Mhm. It's
Yeah.
literally that easy. Mhm.
So, what would you tell people who could actually begin to? Obviously, there are ways I think that you can induce relaxation, right? I think a
Yeah,
lot of people in this community know about that, but on
absolutely.
the off chance that someone's listening that hasn't before we go national,
Yeah.
well, wait, we're already worldwide.
Yes, we are.
Yes, we are.
Mhm.
So relaxation, I think that's important, isn't it?
Yeah, and it's so easy. If anybody doesn't know how to even begin with this process, the simplest, easiest, most guaranteed, which all the masters completely utilize, is breath. Just focus on your breath.
Mm.
Yep.
Every time I hear that, I always hear there's two types of words. There are body words, which I call guttural words,
Mhm.
and then there are breath words. Those are
Mhm.
words of spirit.
Yes.
And the difference is if you say, let's say, a profane word
Mhm.
like the F word, "Ugh,"
Yeah.
it's from the
Yeah.
gut.
Yeah.
But
Grr. Yeah.
yes, if I say favor to you, Trina,
Huh?
favor
Yeah.
is of the breath.
Yeah. Or
Yeah.
breathe.
Yes, yes. And
Just breathe.
And one spirit can sense the other spirit, even doing this. Just
Yeah. Yeah, you feel the wave of
yeah,
love and comfort come over
yeah,
your being.
yeah,
Mhm.
yeah.
It's that fast.
See,
Yeah, it's really that fast.
it
That's
happens
I
all
mean,
the
we are
time.
powerful masters of alchemy. It's we're doing it all the time, and we've just never understood. So our alchemical processes normally are taking us over because we're not actively involved in the process. So
Alchemical processes. Isn't that what an alchemist does?
that's exactly it. We are the
Yeah.
masters of it because look at these biological vessels. They're amazing.
They are absolutely amazing. The
Yes,
more
they are.
that you look at them, the more amazed I am about them. I mean, talk
Yeah,
about a piece of engineering. Now,
it's
they're not
fabulous.
perfect, but for the
No,
environment we're here, they're
yeah,
perfect for it. That's why
absolutely.
that's why our bodies don't work good in space. That's not where we were designed.
They can't work good in space, and they will
Yeah.
die in space. You cannot go there fully human. It'll kill the vessel, unless they can create the technology that would surround the body and wrap the body in the Earth's magnetic field the entire time while you were there. You might have a chance, but still, I don't know. It's pretty tough.
They said the Russians tried to apparently having sex in space is difficult.
Oh, I would imagine so, because
Yeah.
there's no force, no gravity.
And the
Mhm,
problem is that yeah, anyway, but
mhm,
here's a question, the philosopher that I am. So let's do a hypothetical. So Trina, we have the Earth has gotten a group of men and women. We're going to colonize a distant planet, not Mars, but a distant one.
mhm,
And so here's my question. So let's say they have coitus
mhm,
and the copulation does result in fertilization.
uh-huh.
I guess my question would be, would they have the same type of soul as someone on Earth who never left Earth?
No, I think, all the souls are born of the same. So it's one soul, many spirits, but it's like the soul develops as it's progressing through its
So
existence.
so
Yeah,
what you're saying is that no matter where two humans would go, and if they had offspring, the soul would be the same.
I think the soul is always changing. I think the
Yeah.
soul evolves.
It's an interesting question, because
Mhm,
after yesterday's show, by the way, I got some pretty interesting emails.
mhm.
Um, I said at the end of it, I contend that I see more and more now where I believe that there are soulless humans walking.
Oh, I do too.
Yeah,
Definitely, definitely. Yeah,
yeah.
yep.
It's an interesting concept just to get out there and stretch your mind a little bit. Earth has certain laws, certain rules that have to apply if you're going to live here.
Hmm.
The Earth itself has rules, laws.
Yep.
But if I'm in space where there is no claim to a planet, and if my soul has been trapped in the incarnation here on this planet,
Hmm.
it's interesting. It's
Yeah.
very interesting to think if that would apply the same.
When you were just discussing that, you know what I literally saw in my mind?
What'd you see?
They showed me, like, our soul orb, the
Yeah.
ball of light essence thing that a lot of us see as your true thing. I literally saw that ball go into the physical body, and I heard spacesuit,
Ooh,
spacesuit. It's your spacesuit. Your soul is your spacesuit. It's a suit you need to
I can get
travel in.
behind that.
That's what I just heard. I just saw it's your spacesuit, and that's
What
why I've
this
always known.
is.
Yeah, yeah, it's your spacesuit, and it holds all the information so you can operate within that construct. So that's why the soul changes according to what spacesuit you're requiring and where you're going. So
It's a
that's just what
pressure
I saw when
suit.
you said that. They showed me the spirit
Yeah.
coming down into the soul like a spacesuit, and that was the body. Yeah.
Yeah, because they're pressure vessels. I mean, each of us have a blood pressure that's maintained in
Yeah.
our body. You ever cut yourself, you're going to find out what happens when a pressurized body is opened up. That is
Absolutely.
profound, my dear.
I literally saw it, the spacesuit. It's your
But
spacesuit.
it's really interesting. I'm going to really meditate more on this. Is that
Yep.
so? Aliens. I often said, well, if God isn't of human nature or of the same essence, then that would mean that it would be an alien essence. And now I'm beginning to think, well, if I have different universes, different galaxies, different planets, Trina, that's
But
good food for
my
thought.
thing is, it's like I've gone through the different planets, different universes, then multiverse, omniverse. I can't get there yet. My brain explodes every time I try to get it. I'm not ready yet, or something. I don't know. But it- to me, it seems like anything invisible light is still part of the construct. So I need to go to that which is unseen. That's where the truth of
Well,
all of
I contend that the natural essence of things is darkness.
it would make sense to me, because it's not seen. You will
Yeah,
not.
exactly.
Yeah, it's not going to be seen. So whether it's white light because it's everything, or it's blackness because it's everything, they're both everything.
And there's the paradox is the
Yeah,
fact.
one is womb, and one is more spirit, but they're both the beginning. So,
Mm,
but I think I want to go to the spirit beginnings more than the womb beginnings, because the womb for me in this, for at least for what I can perceive, is still part of the construct.
Brandy wanted to know, where did the word soul or spirits originate? I know spirit originated from Rosh. That's the
Yeah,
Hebrew.
and that's
Uh,
like looks like the number seven, right?
mhm. Yep.
That's what I thought.
I love
Yeah.
that. Rosh. I can't get the thing, but that is spirit. Soul is a debate as
That's
to,
and that's literally what I've been getting more and more, is that the soul is an add-on. The spirit's always, but the soul, it's the spacesuit. They never showed me it that way before, but that's
it's
brilliant.
interesting.
Like,
Yeah.
that's really kind of brilliant the way they showed that to me. It makes sense, because I was seeing the soul changes from if you go to a different place, because you need a different body, a different construct, a different, it's different. You need the different things in your soul so you can operate on that planet. So this is what I was shown. So the spacesuit thing makes like perfect sense. You need a different spacesuit to go to a different planet,
Yep.
or a different universe, or a different galaxy. You need a different spacesuit, because it's not going to work the same as the Earth spacesuit. It's just not going to be the same.
One
It's
of
not
our studies that we did here was that they say that there is the paraspirit that is what
Paris.
I would say would be the soul. It's the essence that binds the body to the spirit.
I think that's I think like the spirit is that ball of water and light and consciousness and intelligence, that 22 grams or whatever that leaves our
Yeah.
body. The paraspirit puts its own essence into the soul, and the soul becomes animated and conscious, and it takes in the body. That's what I see. It's a three process.
In a lot of the magical studies, they use the word blending.
Yes, that's what it
Yeah.
looks like to me. It
Yeah.
blends. Yeah,
It's
it merges, but the big one at the very top, it's never like changes. It's always the
yeah.
same.
In one of the studies I did is back in the day when a woman would naturally abort a child, a fetus,
Uh-huh.
was the theory was that there was not a blending that took place.
Yes,
And
yes. There was
so,
an alchemical
yeah, then there
bad
was a
connection.
reaction.
Yeah,
Yep.
something didn't work right with the
Yeah.
alchemistry, with the alchemical process. So the body's wisdom knows that, oh, this one didn't get enough of this protein. It won't work. It
Yep.
knows.
And it's
Yeah.
interesting, where Lynn works, death is ever present. And we were talking, and there's an interesting way the way people pass over. There are some who there the separation is instantaneous.
Yeah.
There are others that the longest one that we know of, it took over a year.
Yeah.
It was
Yeah.
a very and it was a battle. Um, she's seen two different types of death.
Uh-huh.
Those who seem to be more religious seem to have more fear.
Yes, because
Um, they have
judgment.
to, yeah, they actually have to give them sedatives
Yep.
because their fear is so great.
Yeah. Because
And then,
they start doubting themselves. Did I do
oh,
enough? Did I say enough? Was
oh,
I
it's
enough?
terrible. It's
Yeah, they
terrible.
start to get into judgment and fear, and then it wrecks them. That's why I
Yeah.
think most of us get trapped. It's through religion, and that's because you have self-doubt.
There was
That's
one
the trap.
individual that she spoke of who was full of life.
Hmm.
And when the time came, he was ready. No fear.
Yeah,
It was like, hey, I'm going on to the next part of this. And
right. I'm
passing,
off to the next blue
yeah,
yonder.
I mean, it was just boom. I mean, basically very healthy, good, strong mind, it was just,
Yep,
it was time. And
yeah.
I can understand that. I really can. I don't get where people want to live forever in the flesh. I really don't.
I think it's the biggest deception ever implanted on earth because I do believe that the paraspirit and the soul are connected. And
Yeah.
I think for whatever reason, it is like if you change and lock in the paraspirit to silicone based structures, your paraspirit might be stuck. You
Mm.
won't be able to get out of the thing for a very long time because eventually it'll break itself down because it's wisdom in its own wisdom. It eventually will return back to itself no matter what they try to do. They can never trap it indefinitely. But this is like what I'm seeing going on is like trying to trap your paraspirit
I think they
into
are.
the matrix.
I
Mhm.
think they know that many of us have figured it out. We've got the portal. And
Yes.
I think they're trying to really screw with us, man.
Yeah, because they know they're not going to be able to feed anymore. It's kind of
Yeah.
scary when you know you're going to lose your food
Oh,
source.
I think we just soured the milk, Trina.
Totally.
I
Antivirus on overdrive.
Oh, those
Mhm,
guys, what they go and do? Oh, they
mhm.
went and got themselves free. Oh, crap. Here we
Yep.
go.
Yeah, and that meditation that we did, those meditations, literally, David, his video was so beautiful when he heard from earth frequency. That was
Hmm.
beautiful.
Yeah.
And I got the same message. It was so similar because I connected to earth frequency, who I call Gaia. And she heard and she saw what we did, and it the joy it brought her was unbelievable.
And
Unbelievable.
and I see Earth as a living entity,
I do too.
a personification. I mean, a planet
Absolutely.
is a life-giving. I mean, that's a god.
I can see her and feel her breathe.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We have given her a break.
Yes. Yes. So that was like she
you
was so
know,
happy about that.
they said that the whales are happy.
They are.
That's
And
what I
did you
heard.
see the San Diego Newport Beach had that special algae that makes the water
Yeah.
light up? And they got videotape of dolphins swimming and the water was lighting up, turning the dolphins electric blue. Oh, it's amazing.
I mean,
It's amazing.
it's like, it kind of shows something that somewhere I read today that the air pollution in the major cities has dropped like 60%. You
They
know,
say they can see the Tibetan mountains for the first time in like 20 years.
I think I've been noticing that the stars are just very
Bright.
much more, how shall we say, unobscured.
Yes. Yeah.
And and can I say something to Musk? Quit putting that crap up there, would you? I
Right.
mean,
We
there
don't
are
want this
so
trash in our skies.
I mean, the other night I was trying to watch the Perseid meteorite shower, and the problem is, you've got these freaking low orbiting satellites now,
All
and
over.
it's like, what?
Yep.
Let's see. Truth of Me wants to know what video you were talking about. Um, it was a story 2 days ago about the algae in Newport Beach. Just search that out.
Just go on YouTube, blue glowing dolphins. You'll see like 10 videos pop up. They're only like a minute long because it was literally some guys in a boat. They captured it, and the
Yeah.
dolphins were swimming through the water, and that bacteria makes everything light up when it moves. So yeah, it was beautiful in Newport Beach, California, and it was
Spent a
this
lot of time
class.
there. By the
Me
way,
too. I used to go every summer when I was a kid.
okay, so,
Yeah.
you can actually rent a boat in the
Yes,
harbor there,
you sure can.
and, as you're going out into the outlet, that's where they shot Gilligan's Island, as you probably
Oh,
know,
that's right.
over on the, left side of the, inlet.
That's
Yeah,
right.
yeah,
Oh gosh, that's right. Yeah, we
and
stopped going there when I was like 14 years old, but I went from like age 5 all the way through then.
I
Yeah.
was there about 3 years ago, and John Wayne's house, set
Oh,
right there, and what's real interesting as you're going down there in Newport Beach, that is the 2 streets where they had the little people when they were filming The Wizard of Oz. And so you have these really smaller homes, and it's worth going by. You can get a Segway and actually do it. So anyway,
I love Newport Beach.
it's
Lots of good
beautiful.
memories there.
It's beautiful. There
I can
there
tell
is
you, my sister got lost
really.
on the beach, and I swear to God, that community was so amazing. I had people
Yeah.
walking up down the beach asking me if I had seen my little sister, and we found her, and the guy had her on his front balcony. And yeah, she got lost. She tried to go to the bathroom by herself off the beach, into all those condos. There's millions. They all look the
Oh
same.
yeah.
Like
Yep.
5 years old. And we just turned around and we're like, where is she? And we were looking on the beach, because we thought, but no, she tried to go back to the apartments. So she got lost.
I bet
Oh, it
you.
was a
Whew.
train wreck. It was crazy. But yeah, those people down there back in the 80s, wow, what amazing people. What amazing people.
Love the area. Oh my goodness. Yep. That hour is gone. What time we
It's,
get together?
I know, it's
Well,
just God. Yes.
well, folks, hey, what can I say? This has just been a fabulous hour, Trina. I've just enjoyed it immensely.
Yep, we're just trying to figure out the maze of craze and how to
Well,
get out of this.
we have an advantage over our ancestors, and this is that we've got this communication medium now.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And the earth has been birthing up a bunch of documentation to help us think, and to give us different stories. And so we could look at things, with a bigger vision.
Knowledge shall abound in the last days, I think. And
Yes, and
I
it's
had to write somebody.
2020.
Yeah,
Perfect vision.
they said, well, these are the end days. And I wrote back and I said, every end has a beginning.
Perfectly, yes.
Yeah. So
Absolutely.
if some look at this as the end of days, I look at this as the beginning of days.
That's exactly what I see. It's like you have to have the tower moment before you can rebuild a whole new world.
Ain't that the truth?
Yeah. So things are going to have to fall apart so they can get rebuilt. But this is what we've asked for.
Yeah, we're gonna have some more fun with this. I have a feeling this is only but this the beginning. Oh, what a way.
Only just begun.
No pun intended. Well, Miss Trina, take us out. Thank you, everyone. I just want to say thank you all.
I
It's
love you guys. You are the best human
uh,
beings I've ever met. So thank you for being here and thank you for being part of my world. It means more than you will ever know. So
well,
thank
Trina,
you.
you rock our world.
Well, y'all rock mine, and I am so grateful every day. I told Wade before we got on, I says, "You guys are the best part of my reality." It's
That is such a sweet way of putting it too. I like that.
true.
I like that.
It's
That
true.
is just so cool. I mean, I love it. You're going to be on Brian's channel what on Saturday or is it
I
Sundays?
think we're going to go Saturday. He might be having somebody else, but I think Sunday and Monday for sure. But we're playing around right now. He's trying to schedule, so I don't know.
Okay, all right.
We're kind
That's
of going
Milky Way Weekly
Milky Way Messenger, and
Messengers. Yep.
the last two chapters that he went over, guys, wow, they were profound. The last two readings that he did on that book, man, dropping some deep truth bombs. I mean, I would
What was the
suggest
title of that?
Higher Minds.
Higher Minds. I know it was
Yeah, and he was
episode
getting
something.
into the super consciousness, the consciousness, and then like the self and the three layers of the mind construct. And this is what I've always understood. And it's like this stuff is powerful, powerful information.
Mm. It's well worth it, folks.
Yeah. Just
Brian
great.
should, should be up there much more. So check it
Yeah,
out.
it's beautiful.
All right, Miss Trina, stay with me, everyone. I'll see you tomorrow, and we love you.
Yeah.
And keep yourself in a good state of consciousness, please.
Yes.
All right. Bye-bye, everyone.